impression like they tells others that I'm good in the front of them, but at, when I'm not there, they're telling that I'm bad or something. So honest is the most important thing.
When someone is fake or
Yeah.
if someone speaks behind your back.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Can you think of one more quality?
Maybe rich friends or some friends who like
They
fashion.
have their own football field, right?
Yeah. So they can buy me a good ball or they can hire a football field for me to play.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you prefer to have a large group of friends and acquaintances or a few close friends?
I prefer a larger group because I like to have a big social in my life because I'm do lots of things in my life. I have lots of activities. So when I like playing a band, I met one friends, and maybe if they have other friends, they can like if they have other friends that are playing football, they may if I interest in football, maybe they can teach me football.
Yeah.
And like that. Or in the future, I might want to make a business. So larger group may make my business better than doing alone or like a few friends. Or we can share an idea together.
Great. Okay. So what are the differences between friendships made as a child and those that we make as an adult?
As a child, we actually like know nothing much. So we can have any friends as a child. We know anyone's. But as an adult, you may have to be careful of somebody who's like talking bad from the back, like you said before.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard now to live in a society because there's a more like bad guy or many kinds of people in society in the world now.
So are you saying as children we trust more? So we make friends with everybody, right?
Yeah, make friends to everybody.
When you're an adult, you are more careful.
Yeah, because we improve our thinking and other things like emotion. We change our emotional.
Okay, great. This first page you've done really, really well. I have not needed to correct you much at all. So you've done a really good job.
Okay.
So let's move on to the next page. So this one is talking about newspapers. So firstly, do you read newspapers?
Oh, I actually don't read newspapers.
Okay, so we can change this maybe
Okay.
to maybe if you see articles on Facebook, right? Sometimes you see links to things, or you see news articles or news stories on Facebook or on other social media.
Okay.
So when did you first start reading those and why? So why would you click on a link that you see on Facebook?
Yeah, I first started reading it because I've seen pictures and some interesting things. Nowadays, all of the news there include pictures. When I was in the age of 13, yeah, they have pictures and interesting details. So and also reading a book is quite boring. So I think reading in Facebook or something that told me it's easier.
Okay, great. This one might be difficult because you don't really read the newspaper, but do you maybe know a little bit about any newspapers in your country or even in your area?
Yeah, my newspapers in my country, they are selling in the supermarket, and they use like a scratch paper, like not quite a quality paper, so it's pretty hard to read because it's also includes pretty small fonts and styles of writing they print it. Some of them they print it without a color, and like all Thai newspaper is in black and white. Not like in the other countries, they are all have a color, so it's easier to look.
Yeah, great. That's well done, seeing as you don't really read the newspaper.
Yeah.
I can probably help by also talking a little bit about the newspapers in my country.
You live in England?
I live in England, yes.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
You have?
I saw your accent, yeah.
Oh great.
British.
Where in England have you been?
Wait, I forgot. Brighton.
Brighton. That's very nice, by the sea, right?
Brighton Piers.
My friend is from Brighton. You had the fish and chips and went to the pier.
Yeah, I shopping every day. JD.
Well,
Sneakers.
talking of newspaper, did you have fish and chips in newspaper? That's how they used to serve the food. So way back when we had a horse and cart, we didn't have a car, and when we had fish and chips, they would roll it in newspaper to get rid of grease.
I also went to London. It's quite nice.
Yes, you can't come to England without going to London, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so the newspapers in my country, there has a political stance on different newspapers. So if you come from a more liberal background, so if you are more concerned about people's human rights and thinking about people's feelings and freedom of speech and people's homosexuality and people's right to choose.
Yeah.
Then there are probably newspapers differently that you pay attention to, and the stories are different, as opposed to there are other also newspapers where they gossip more. So they tend to take the truth and spin it in a way that they want it to go. So there are lots of different kinds of newspapers, and people choose them differently because of their view on life and their opinions in society, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how important is it for people to read the news rather than watch it on TV?
Oh, so I think
there is no wrong answer.
Reading the news I think is important because it have a more clearly information and there are more information, and there also includes a picture, but sometimes in television they just talk and sometimes people don't catch it because they are talking too fast. But in the news you can repeat it again and again, so you may understand more.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. All right. Also, if there are any questions that I ask you or anything that I speak about that you don't understand, you are totally welcome to ask about it or ask me to repeat it.
Okay.
Or even to ask in a different way so that you can understand. But it seems that you don't really have a problem with that, which is great. But I thought I'd just let you know.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have another part 2, which is the same as the last one. So you have 1 minute to prepare something that you want to talk about. So you should talk about one of the facilities in your area that you use frequently. So I would imagine you're going to be talking about football. So you can talk about what kind of facility it is. So the amenities that it has. So for example, a swimming pool. You could talk about the different lanes and how you have the changing rooms and the locker rooms and the places where you can store your things, the things that they give you to use. Also, you could talk about where it is located. So where is it to where you are? what it has to offer. So I was talking about that already, you know, the amenities that they have. And also explain to me why you use it so frequently, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to set the alarm and you can start now. "30 seconds left." "5 seconds." Okay.
Okay.
Would you like to start off for me?
Yes. So, the facilities that I prefer is shopping center. So, my shopping center is named Siam Paragon. It's located in Bangkok, which is the capital city of Thailand. From my house, I took a train, sky train, for about 10 stations from my house because it's quite far because I live in the south of the Bangkok and it's quite far, maybe 40 minutes to 1 hour. So at Siam Paragons, they have lots kind of shopping things, stuff. Like there are plenty of restaurants. They also include a theater, and they also have lots of brand names like Gucci, Prada, and Louis Vuitton. Also Supreme sneakers. My favorite band is Adidas. So me and my friends, we are going to Siam Paragon almost maybe 4 times a month because we are all shopaholic. We stay tuned with the shopping stuff every day. We look at the new collection of the fashions things every day.
Wow.
And I like Justin Bieber, so he wears when he wears something. There also have a brand called Fear of God. Do you know? And also Yeezys, the sneakers, the very expensive sneakers, but it's heavily in Siam Paragon and it's quite have a lot of them. So me and my friends, we both bought it for 3 pairs already.
Wow.
And my family is there also love to shopping, so they took me to Siam Paragon every weekend to sometimes watch a movie or having a dinner when we are free.
Great. Good job. I think you covered all of that. You told me about the fact that it's a shopping center, so that's the facility and where it's located. And actually also you covered how you get there too and how far away it is. So that was good. Also what the facility has to offer. You even talked about the cinema and why you use it so frequently. I can see why.
Yeah.
Okay, good job. All right then, so part 3, the neighborhoods in your community or in your country even. Describe a typical neighborhood in your country.
What do you mean typical?
Typical is just kind of a general neighborhood in your country, just a normal one. So if you imagine a neighborhood, a random neighborhood in Thailand, in Bangkok, what kind of neighborhood is it like? Is it a big community? Do people mix a lot? Are there lots of parks? Are there, lots of events and fairs? That kind of thing.
My neighborhood in my country is quite huge because there's events like music events for almost every month. And then the most popular thing is Songkran, where foreigners will come to Thailand to play water and have an EDM concert there. And there's also a lot of Japanese and other Asians people live in Bangkok because they're like to having a business with Thai people.
So you would say that a neighborhood in your country has a lot of events and music concerts.
Yeah.
And it's very, you could say, multicultural, where there are lots of different people from different countries and different cultures. Great.
Okay.
Good job. Okay. Have neighborhoods changed over the years? In what ways?
My neighborhood changed area because Bangkok is quite a big city, so there built many things every single year, and there's also lots of traffic in my city, and it's quite boring. So some 2 years before, the traffic is still good, but nowadays the traffic is quite bad. There's a traffic jam for every day, like for 2 hours, and it took me from my house to Siam Paragon because
2 hours. Wow.
2 hours because they like to build more buildings and more apartment, maybe some houses in Bangkok.
Wow. Okay, thank you. And how do people show their pride in their neighborhoods?
What do you mean pride?
The pride is, I would imagine that question means, how do they show that they are proud to live in that neighborhood? That they are proud of their neighborhood?
I think because it's a big neighborhood and there's lots of foreigners, like you say, multicultural cities. And there's also lots of nightclub and nightlife in Bangkok is quite famous around the world. So people pretty enjoy the nightclub in Bangkok.
Could you explain to me what you think a neighborhood is?
A neighborhood? Before I think is like a friend's near my house.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Okay, so I'll explain neighborhood a little bit more. I'm sorry if I didn't explain that to you properly earlier. So a neighborhood is actually the smallest part of where you live. So for example, where I live, it's Birmingham. The city is Birmingham in England. But my neighborhood is Solihull, which is a part of the city that I live in. So it's a part in your address. It's the area that you live, right?
Oh, okay.
So it still works, what you've been saying, because you've been talking about your city, you've been talking about Bangkok, but the area of Bangkok that you live in, how do people show their pride? Do they hang flags? Do they have fairs that celebrate their neighborhood? Do they have community events? That kind of thing. Would you like to try that again?
Yeah. So I've lived in Tonglo, where many rich business guy live here. Many Japanese guys live here, and they like drive a Ferrari and Lamborghini. It's the only place in the country that is the most rich people live there, and I have only one apartment there. So every night I will see a group of Lamborghini or Ferrari, like they are having a meeting
Wow.
every night.
Okay. So you think that they show their pride by having expensive things to show off?
Yes, yes.
That sounds very nice to look at, for sure.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
jealous to them too because
Yeah.
I want to have one.
Of course. Okay, so well done with that. I'm glad that we cleared up about what a neighborhood is. So a hood, you can say, same with a childhood. So it's like an area, right? So an area of your life when you were a child, childhood. So when you see hood, it's kind of like it suggests area of something. So sense of community. What are the advantages of living in a small community? Firstly, do you live in a large or a small community? Is your rich area big or small?
I live in a big community.
Okay. So what might be a good thing about living in a small community?
I think living in a small community, maybe people are having more freedom to do many things. Like if you're living in a big community, maybe you should wait long for doing things. There'll be a traffic jam for sure. If you live in a small community, there may be no traffic jam, and you may easily to travel to other places that you want.
Very nice. And might there be any bad sides to being in a small community?
You may feel boring if you live in a small community because you have everything's the same, and maybe let me think.
You have time. No rush.
Okay. I think that there may be not quite much activities for you to do.
Okay. Yeah, that's well done. Well put.
Yeah.
So you've outlined the advantages and disadvantages of maybe living in a small community. Good job. Do you think people in your neighborhood have a strong sense of community?
Can you explain sense of community?
So a sense of community is being together and being a part of a group, being part of the community.
These are my friends.
Hi, friend. So do you think people in your neighborhood have a strong sense of community? So perhaps in a city, people don't have as much of a strong sense of community because there are so many people. And so you don't tend to meet or to get to know each other or to do anything to help your fellow neighbors out, right? And a small sense of a sense of community might be that someone enjoys helping the homeless, or someone that joins in with town hall meetings, or someone who gets to know people in their area. So that could be having a sense of community.
Okay.
So do you think that is something that people in your neighborhood do? So you explained, you were talking about your group with the Lamborghinis. Do you think that's a kind of a sense of community?
Yeah. I think people in my neighborhood quite have a strong sense of community because they are all rich, and sometimes they are homeless on the road, like as you say. I saw them helping each other all the time because Thai people like to do a charity at the temple or anywhere else. If they've seen a dog, they may took it to their house, or maybe they sell it, but not left them there.
Oh, that's great. So I think with that vocabulary then, there was just one minor thing with a different tense. So you would say that they would take them to the house.
Good.
Took implies that they did take them. So they took them in the past tense. That was well done. And I'm glad that I could explain that to you. Thank you for asking and pointing out that you didn't quite understand. So the last one is, what can be done to develop a sense of community in neighborhoods? So you've already explained what they already do, but what do you think that they could do more of? Or do you have any ideas for what someone could do to develop more of a sense of a community?
Maybe they can create a group for people in the neighborhood to do join and activities together and learning some good stuff together, like sharing money for the charity or taking care of the homeless and the dog, like as I said before.
Yeah, taking care of dogs. Okay, great. All right then, so we are powering through this. I think we're going to get all of this done.
Okay.
So this is the final page. So just 3 more parts to go. So I think some of this we've probably already covered, so we might not need to do all of these questions. Yes. So you have already described the neighborhood where you live. If you would like to, you could try describing a little bit more about other things that you haven't mentioned about your neighborhood. So what other things can you tell me about where you live?
In my neighborhood, there's lots of sorry. Describe the neighborhood where I lived. I live in a neighborhood that have quite lots of restaurants and shopping centers around my neighborhood. Right. So I think it's quite a good place to live.
That's great. Okay. So you've already covered about what you like living about, what you like about living there. And also, what might you dislike about your neighborhood?
I dislike about traffic jam and lots of garbage around my neighborhood, because there's less garbage can, and so people don't have a place to like take their bin to the garbage, so they may put on the road or in the water.
Oh, so instead of getting rid of their trash, people tend to empty their trash cans into the water or into the street?
Yes.
Wow, okay. And what kind of neighborhood would you like to live in? It's also okay to say if you like living in the neighborhood that you're in now.
I would like to live in a neighborhood that have only teenagers activities, like having a music festival every week, having plenty of shopping centers like in my neighborhood now, and there will be no school in my neighborhood.
That's very nice. Okay, and do you like to walk? Do you like walking?
Yeah, I like walking, but I like to walk at the park because it's make me feel relaxed, and I also listen to the song when I walk, so it's make me fresh and chilling out.
So that can also go under the places that you can walk near your house. You can walk near the park, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Do people in your country like walking as well?
No, Thai people are quite lazy, so they are use other kinds of transportation. They are use car and motorbikes around cities because they are lazy.
You
And-
all seem very healthy without walking anywhere.
and
Okay.
it's quite cheap to buy a motorbike.
Wow. That's cool. Okay, so what other kinds of exercise do you enjoy?